all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another SnodaReel. I'm your host, BlackChat56. I'm, of course, joined by the Forever Gay, the now, I guess, angelic still. I guess the horns got backtracked. HungryHufflepuff, a.k.a.
What are you
Alex.
talking about? These are the horns.
Sure. Anyways. And, of course, we're also joined by the wonderful DJLionheart, a.k.a. Leon.
Hey, everybody.
We hope you didn't miss us too hard. We were on Thanksgiving. And no, this isn't vodka, it's water, because I have already had my alcohol. But that's a different story. So.
I haven't.
Oh, dear God.
I mean, I could, but these are kind of gross.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Power through them. You bought them.
Kind of the unfortunate thing, yeah.
Yeah, that was my attitude toward the last cans this size I bought.
I can't do canned alcohol. Cans, they're just gross. I can't do it.
I can do cans. It depends on what it is. That's my thought process too. It has to depend on what it is.
Has to be a glass bottle for me.
Or at the very least, plastic. Because a lot of them are plastic now too.
Mm-hmm.
So, alrighty then. Well, of course, the topic for tonight is Jim Carrey comedies. Figured might as well go ahead and get this out of the way, just because I know that we needed content. But I figured this is actually kind of not a terrible time to talk about Jim Carrey, at least the positive side of Jim Carrey, because apparently a lot of stuff is going down with one of his exes who has now since committed suicide. We, of course, do not have any ill will towards that person. Clearly, they were unwell, but they in their suicide letter, they did mention Jim Carrey's name a lot. So, doesn't look good on Jim Carrey's part. Let's talk about some of the heydays. Don't get me wrong, Jim Carrey's kind of had his own head up his ass for quite a while. But let's go back to the good old days of Jim Carrey. Of course, he started off in Living Color. He had a whole bunch of other plethora of characters. He did a really good. I still to this day laugh at his Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers just kicked my ass. Just oh, that skit's so hilarious. Of course, all the Fire Marshal Bill freaking shit is absolutely hilarious. The oh my god, yeah, just those are some of the funniest skits still to this day. And then Elvira, or what was her name? Elmira, the female bodybuilder who took like horse steroids.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't know.
Oh, but you know who I'm talking about though, right?
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah, I freaking love that. Oh, those are still some of the freaking funniest things I've ever seen. And of course you have his comedy movies, which I guess arguably was The Mask, right? That was what started his like film
I
career,
believe
basically,
so.
was
I
The
believe
Mask.
The Mask was the first like comedy that he started.
I know that one of the first things he starred in that wasn't a TV show was The Deadpool, which is a Dirty Harry movie. He actually started alongside Jim Carrey. He was or started alongside Clint Eastwood. He's I think he's a junkie that gets shot.
That's
interesting.
yeah.
Of course and then of course before in Living Color, or at least around the same time as in Living Color, Jim Carrey had his stand-up career, which I feel like arguably he's not as well known for, but he has some really good.
I actually never knew he did a stand-up.
Oh no,
he
yeah,
had a stand-up
it doesn't
career.
surprise me because other famous comedians like Eddie Murphy, Robert Williams did stand-up.
Well, here's the thing: it's less known because he is known for his movies.
There you go. His film career his film and TV career is much more well known than his because he never really had like a full-on film stand-up. He had one that I've seen so far. Everything else was all just like kind of private shows or dive bars.
If you think you haven't heard his stand-up, you've heard it on one of them on TikTok. It's the audio of talking about that little voice in your head that says,
you can't do that.
Driving into oncoming traffic would be counterproductive.
Yeah, that is Jim Carrey. But another one I love from that same special actually is the whole like I get sick and tired of people going whenever I tell them I'm from Canada, I get sick and tired of people telling me like, oh wow, Must have been cold. Now it's, if they talk to me, I say, Canada. It is a frozen wasteland. It just goes to a whole tidbit, and I'm like, I fucking love this. And it's just one of those things. It's I think you can find the whole thing on YouTube too.
Probably.
It's very poor quality because I believe it was the 80s. It's very, very poor quality, but it was still great. It's still freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
There is one of his movies that at the time it was kind of underrated. Just because
I swear to God, if you say Cable Guy, I'm going to jump through the screen.
Go right ahead. That's exactly where I was going.
I knew exactly.
I thought you were going to say
underrated. I was like,
I thought you were going to say Yes Man.
Yes Man is underrated, but it went under the radar because everybody was like, okay, this is kind of the dip of his career.
So
and I like Yes Man.
I actually saw Yes Man before I went on my mission as a Mormon. Like that was the last movie I saw in theaters before I took my 2 years. And so that one scene where the Mormons come to his door just made me laugh.
It is funny, yeah.
And then it became ironic.
No, but no, with Cable Guy, the downside is okay. So I couldn't get through Cable Guy because I get really bad secondhand embarrassment. That entire movie is secondhand embarrassment.
It's not his usual style.
No, it's him being weird and kooky. This, honestly, that role would have fit John Malkovich. Tell me I'm wrong. The only other person it would have fit is Gary Busey.
But he did what he always does when he acts in movies. He gave his all.
Oh no, 100%. He absolutely did give it his all. I don't know. I feel like it's ahead of its time because technically it came out before internet culture was a thing.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people realized there are a shitload of people that are actually like this.
Mm-hmm.
And especially internet celebrities, or at least like semi-celebrities, you've at least met one person that's like that. At least one. And everybody remembers their one.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody remembers that first one. And so that's where it's ultimately, I would agree, it is rather genius and actually kind of funny. However, to me, I don't know why I still can't get into it. I don't like it. It's not my cup of tea.
That's the thing. Everybody has their own individual taste. I kind of enjoy it, but then again, I dissociate well when it comes to movies.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's I got up to the point of medieval times. I think that's where I kind of cut it off.
I can see why that would be where you cut it off.
Honestly, it was funny to me. The medieval times bit was hilarious, but it's also kind of forgettable as well. But that's about where I shut it off. I'm like, I tried to power through this. Maybe if I give it another chance, I'll like it. Because granted, I stumbled upon it on Netflix. That was part of the reason.
Yeah.
It comes
Netflix,
down to that, and it becomes its own issue. But yeah. Also, if you can't tell, I have a new shiny monitor.
Can we at least say he was the best choice for the Riddler and Batman Forever?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
For the tone that they were going for, yes.
Absolutely. For the character of the Riddler itself, outside of that tone, absolutely not.
Yeah. No. It was basically Jim Carrey doing his own shtick. That's essentially what it was. And to be fair, that was another role that was kind of before internet culture was a thing. Is another role like that. And everybody remembers the one. That one person that just kind of takes it a little too much, and
I believe that was go ahead, Ali.
I believe Tommy Lee Jones went on record as saying he could not stand that level of buffoonery.
No. Tommy Lee Jones never went on record saying it. Jim Carrey went on record saying he hugged me and the blood drained from his face and he whispered in my ear, "I can't stand your buffoonery."
That's right.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious considering his antics in the movie.
Yeah, it's actually kind of ironic because, like, I argue Tommy Lee Jones eats more scenery than Jim Carrey does.
If I remember correctly, that was actually my introduction to Jim Carrey. Was Batman Forever for me, and
the worst.
Like
I think
for
mine
me,
was
awkwardly
enough. I think mine was Ace Ventura.
I think Ace Ventura was the first for a lot of people.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch Ace Ventura when I was younger, but Batman Forever was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Ace Ventura until much later, and I'm like, I see why. And now as an adult watching it,
when you're a kid, you don't really. I never understood half of it. I'm just like, I'm just here for Jim Carrey because he's goofy and funny and he's making me laugh.
right?
But the actual mystery, I never paid attention to it. I was like, oh, cool, he found the dolphin. It went completely over my head. I watched it as an adult, and I'm like,
This movie does not age well, but I love the movie.
I never even thought that. I was just like, there's no way they're going that far with it. They did, and I commend them for it. They had the balls to go there. Anyways,
yep.
That being said,
that's a pun on that joke for that.
Yeah,
but as I was saying, for me, like I said, Batman Forever was my first introduction to Jim Carrey, and I really liked the back and forth with Tommy Lee Jones that he did.
Yeah,
I thought it made it funnier,
pretty good.
which was weird because I was also going off of watching the Batman animated series and then seeing these two characters. It's like they're not
nowhere near
jokesters. They're not really jokesters,
where they are in the
but for some reason, for me as a kid watching this, is like somehow it worked. Especially taking like watching a scary character as. Let's face it, Two-Face was fucking scary. Even drawn in the animated series, he was scary looking. So
he acted
to make it
too.
more, and to make him more of a comedic, I think was a good tone for the film. To take
for
it
the film that was made, yes, I would not argue that. From the film that it bounced off of,
absolutely not. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I agree with that.
In fairness, I believe the direction that Tim Burton was. Was it Burton?
It was Burton that did the. No. He did not do
no.
Batman Forever. That was Joel Schumacher.
Right. Yeah. I believe the direction that
more well known for his follow-up, Ice Puns and Ass. I made her laugh so hard because she knows exactly where I pulled that from.
Yes. But yeah, God damn it. I believe the direction that Schumacher was given for Forever was make it less scary or more kid friendly.
Basically make it market friendly. And
yes. And
now,
boy, did he do that.
He did do that. He overdid it, in my personal opinion. To be fair, if you went from watching, because Schumacher also directed The Lost Boys, the vampire movie. If you go from that to like, if you take that as your basis, like, oh shit, yeah, this guy would be a really good choice. He actually knows how to do the dark and everything. And they're like, no, I just made it. I made it for the kids. And I'm like,
it is such a culture shift.
It is. And here's my other problem. I honestly, the style matches so well that I could, as a kid, always dictate Batman 89 and Batman Forever or Batman Returns. I could always distinguish those two. For whatever reason, as a kid, I never distinguished Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. Can never distinguish it. Those two always blended together for me.
Weird.
Very weird.
I mean, in fairness, same director, same actors.
Same actors, a lot of the same sets.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
Very similar.
If you're looking at that.
Yeah, very similar direction and art style. And yeah, so it is what it is. I nothing against Jim Carrey. He actually does do a really good job in that movie. He does fine. I would still argue his best performance is Stanley Ipkiss from The Mask.
Oh yeah, that's always going to be his knockout role.
For sure. That's like when it comes to a lot of Jim Carrey's movies, one of my go-tos is The Mask.
Yeah.
The thing the thing that makes it even better is consider the comic that movie was based off of.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about culture shock? Oh my god!
And if I remember correctly, too, didn't Jim Carrey help? Did the voice also for the animated series?
Yeah. No, he didn't.
Didn't he?
He didn't?
Nope.
I thought he did.
Nope. Completely different voice actor.
I'm gonna look this up.
But they were drawn like Jim. He was drawn like Jim Carrey, which was interesting, if I remember correctly. It's been
it was a very short-lived series, and
same with the Ace Ventura animated series.
Yeah, that was also Jim Carrey.
That was Rob Paulsen who did the animated series.
He did a lot of the voices in that show.
Yakko Warner himself.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, you can actually watch it on YouTube, believe it or not.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not either.
I believe Tubi has the Ace Ventura animated series.
Oh, Jim Cummings was in it too.
Huh.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? Frank Welker, Cree Summer? Really? Huh, hobby. Cool.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, there.
Oh, shit.
Remember, people, we're professionals.
Allie, what happened to your camera?
I turned it off for some reason.
Okay. That's fair.
Professionals at work, everybody.
Professionals, yes. So I didn't know that was Rob Paulsen. That's weird. You know what? Yeah, he did voice a lot of the characters in that show. It wasn't just Stanley Ipkiss. It was a lot of different characters Rob Paulsen voiced. Mm-hmm. It's a very short-lived show. Let me put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that show was very short-lived, and so was the, like I said, Ace Ventura animated series too.
Yeah.
Also very short-lived. And if I remember correctly, they did a crossover.
Yeah.
Did they?
That was a thing.
I'm not surprised.
The Mask and Ace Ventura.
I'm not surprised. But obviously, we can't talk about a lot. I mean, another really good comedy favorite of mine from him is Liar Liar. That's still one of his my favorites.
Between the verbal comedy and just the physical comedy that he gets into.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I'm kicking my own ass.
Yeah. No. It's like, who did this to you? A madman, Your Honor. A sick, twisted, desperate man. No. My other favorite one is whenever he berates the lover during the court case, and it's like, I blew her brain, or what was it? I banged her brains out, okay? And you see that like little smirk of he's like, oh goddamn, I actually did a really good job, and then it goes back to the crashing reality. His career is done.
The ink, the color of the ink in this pen that I hold in my hand is goes behind the desk, and the blue behind the desk, and the physical comedy just that you see around the desk is hilarious.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The pen attacking him.
To be fair, the elevator scene, in my opinion, was somewhat done better in the trailer. Like it's a funny scene. Don't get me wrong. The freaking mama, that kind of thing. But no, like arguably, I feel like the trailer did it okay because it's like it's arguably funnier what you can think of than what's actually given to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I can agree to that. Yeah. Yeah. Liar Liar is another one of my favorites. I like one of his newer ones, Mr. Popper's Penguins, was really good to me. I really enjoyed it.
I love and hate that movie at the same time. It's weird.
I feel like that's a lot of people's reactions to some of his more serious work.
Love and hate it. A really good performance from him. Not necessarily. It's not like he disappears into the role, but a really good performance from him is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I was waiting for somebody to bring that up. I was just about to if nobody.
I actually
did.
own that movie. It's a really good movie. Highly recommend
that one. I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's with him and Kate Winslet, and it's actually pretty good.
It is definitely one that needs to be seen.
Yeah, it is. It is a really good movie. It's
just to see him in a different role from the comedy aspect.
Yeah. Now, obviously, a lot of people would say the Andy Kaufman movie, Man Over the Moon. He does a good job. It's not the best movie. Yeah, it takes way too many liberties. And it does some really weird ones, too. And, of course, he had that freaking documentary of, like, because apparently he acted like a jackass on set, saying he was possessed by Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
And fuck me, that shit pissed me off.
Like
but
there's method acting, and then there's
just being a dickhole.
Yeah.
Like so,
Johnny Depp having people when he's offset refer to him as Captain Jack Sparrow. That's one thing. Acting like a complete ass offset.
Yeah. Now a lot of people will bring up the Grinch.
Admittedly, it's one of the better. It's one of the better live action Dr. Seuss movies.
Out of all two of them,
there's more than two, I think.
The only other one I remember is Cat in the Hat, and I hate that movie.
It's a big comparison between the two of them, either way.
Nothing against Mike Myers.
Don't like How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's not a good adaptation of it. It's way too long. The jokes are kind of out of place for a Dr. Seuss movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, also the
Yes, at Whoville.
That.
That and when he comes flying out of the pipe.
Oh, yeah. Also there's an explosion in it. I hate the cinematography for it too, because it looked like somebody just rubbed Vaseline all over the goddamn lens. That shit pisses me off.
Yeah.
The Who's look scary as fuck.
Yeah. Quite a few of them. Yeah. I do agree. It's not the best adaptation.
Out of all the adaptations we've gotten, it is not that bad.
Yeah. I agree.
I'll give you that. I will give you that. Out of every adaptation we've gotten, it's not the worst.
Yeah, Jim Carrey had to go through literal fucking hell with that movie too.
They hired a guy who helped CIA agents or trained CIA agents to get through torture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because of how long it took to do the makeup. And I just recently saw this. I don't know if it's true or not.
He said he's down for Grinch too.
Yeah, he's down to make a second Grinch movie.
I don't know how they would.
I don't know how they would either.
I mean, they'd have to write a completely new story, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know that they can.
Yeah,
I have my doubts.
Yeah, I don't know where they could go with it.
I don't either. I really don't.
Like that's the thing about Dr. Seuss books and movies. They have a solid beginning, middle, and end.
Yep.
The fact that they added as much as they did to the movie and it didn't completely wreck it says something.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It also kind of helped my disdain for Ron Howard. Did I mention Ron Howard took over from Phil Lord and Chris Miller in directing duties of Solo, a Star Wars story? God, that movie's a fucking
But
travesty.
we're here to talk about Jim Carrey.
That we are.
Before you go off on that tangent that I feel will take us forever.
No,
that's a tangent for another day.
I was just saying that goddamn that movie. I still have to watch it.
Right.
But I feel a great swell of pity for that movie. I really do. Anywho, so Another really good one is Kick-Ass 2. I feel like he does a decent job for what the amount that he's in. It feels weird not hearing him talk like Jim Carrey or look like Jim Carrey. That was a little weird. Like they added like a makeup where it looked like his nose got broken multiple times.
If I hadn't seen the cast list, I wouldn't have believed it.
Right.
I wouldn't have either. Yeah.
I agree.
I'm in the same boat.
One that I think is one of his most popular we haven't talked about yet, Bruce Almighty.
I wouldn't say it's his most popular, but that is a really good movie.
That is a big
love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That movie has
don't care for the
really
sequel, but love the movie. But love the first one.
It's a very confusing sequel if it is a sequel. But anyways, it's like, how do you go from newscaster to lawyer? How do you? Anyways, that's
and
not
why
is the thing.
Because
that's the other reason.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Evan got the job he wanted as a newscaster.
Mm-hmm.
So why the shift to lawyer?
I don't know, but from what I've heard, when Evan Almighty was coming out, it was actually going to be an actual true sequel to Bruce Almighty, doing a similar story with Jim Carrey. But I guess there was confliction from another movie that he was going to be a part of around that time, or something like that. I honestly don't remember. It's been so long since I heard about it, but
his Count Olaf wasn't bad.
I disagree. I honestly did not like it.
I don't.
I'm talking
it, but you're not supposed to like Count Olaf.
I'm talking about what he brought to the character, not the series itself. I'm talking about the character. I hated the series. I hated the movie.
Yeah,
the movie. I was about to say the series is actually pretty damn good.
The series.
I hated the movie because of what it tried to do.
It tried to do all the books in one movie, and that's arguably not
never a
how
good
you
idea.
Do it. No,
it
could have been a series of movies.
That's where I kind of like didn't like the movie, and it made me feel like it was a poor acting choice because of the way the story went. It could have been written better. Then I agree. I can agree with you, Allie, that some part of it was good for Jim Carrey, and he brought an interesting take to the character.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way they did it, it just made him look on. It didn't make him look good.
No. I'm trying to think of one.
Well, you're thinking that's why I say his Count Olaf wasn't bad.
Not by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not. It's not a good movie.
Yeah, like he did what he could with what he was given.
Yeah, which
you can't ask much more than that.
A lot of actors and actresses try their hardest, but when you have crappy writers,
go figure.
They can only do so much, and it really, which makes it harder on the actors, and it kind of ruins their reputation, which really sucks.
I mean, look at the film that must not be named.
There's a couple of those, but I think I know which one you're talking about.
By a certain quote unquote master of twists.
Yeah, bullshit.
I
call bullshit.
Why do you keep flashing that?
I am not flashing it. For whatever reason, it's my computer. Whenever I get this fucking thing up and running, it'll be a lot better.
And I honestly, for Sonic the Hedgehog, him as Eggman, I loved it.
Yes, his Eggman is, in my opinion, it is significantly better in Sonic 2 than it is in Sonic 1.
In fairness, in Sonic 2, he actually looked and acted the part because we saw him go from just this narcissistic scientist to the madman that is Eggman.
Yeah. So I do agree. And the second one, it made him look better, but that's just because originally Eggman didn't start out as psychotic as he is. that we all known. So him slowly going over to that point from the first Sonic to the second Sonic makes it work better.
It was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm. And I can't wait for Sonic 3. He's supposed to come back as Eggman one more time for it. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with it. From what I've understood, they're bringing Shadow into it as well.
That is true.
I'm curious who they're picking for Shadow.
I think either you go with the video game actor, or, and this is my personal opinion, Stephen Blum is a really good choice.
I can see it.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah, I agree. Penguins are,
Earth Girls are easy. He was in that movie? That's a weird movie. I'm not gonna lie. It's a real weird movie. That is drenched in the 80s. Yeah. It actually came out the same year as the Deadpool. So
now, this was just me. I didn't care for these movies. The Dumb and Dumber movies, I honestly didn't care for them. Yeah, not that saying Jim Carrey was bad.
Yeah.
Not saying he was bad in it. I just didn't care for the film.
It's the style of comedy for me.
Yeah, that could be it.
Like, I have nothing against the people who enjoy that style of comedy. I have nothing against the style of comedy itself. It's just not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
That is fair. I think personally, you have to be incredibly smart in order to write incredibly fucking stupid.
Yes.
Yes. And I would argue.
Yes.
I would argue Dumb and Dumber actually is pretty damn funny. It is stupid, but it's smart at the same time. It's like, yeah. No, the one I was going to bring up that I'm surprised neither of us have brought up is fucking The Truman Show.
I actually
that is a really good serious role for him.
It's not entirely too serious though.
That's
the thing.
Well, that's the thing. It's not his usual comedy act, but it's not serious either.
Well, and he's not really being all that funny either. No.
What did I just say?
In 3 dimensions. Anyways.
We could sit here doing this all night.
That we could, but we're not going to. But yeah, no, I like Truman Show.
No,
it's not my favorite movie. It's definitely good. It has some really good commentary. But aside from that, not my favorite movie. I would still argue like Ace Ventura, Bruce Almighty, The Mask, Yes Man, Liar Liar, the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. Those are like some of my favorite roles of his.
Yeah.
Everybody forgets he was in Christmas Carol.
I can't.
Did not watch that.
It's actually not bad. It's a pretty decent interpretation of the Charles Dickens classic. Ironically enough,
out of all the different adaptations of that story, that has to be one of my favorites. And it's one of the darkest. My other favorite one is obviously the Muppets version. Can't go wrong with the Muppets.
I mean, in fairness, when you really get down to it, A Christmas Carol is a really dark story.
It is.
Oh yeah.
But it goes so dark in order to make you appreciate the light stuff. That's the ultimate point. No, there's one particular scene that works so incredibly well in that particular interpretation is when Tiny Tim dies. You see Bob Cratchit. You see him like he's acting strong and everything else, and Scrooge is not really visible at this point because it's like, he's just kind of a passer on or whatever. He's sitting there right on the stairs, and Bob Cratchit turns his head, and you just see the dread and the tears running down his face, and he's right there looking at Scrooge. And it is one of the most powerful fucking moments I've ever seen in a Christmas
Carol. Sounds like
it is so well done. It's insane. It is so incredibly well done. And I would argue you could never do that on a stage show. Like you could do it, but it's not gonna show that impact. Exactly. Like in my personal opinion, if I ever did an interpretation of the Christmas Carol, that's something I would definitely do. That's such a powerful fucking moment that Scrooge has nowhere to go at that point. That is such a well done scene. Everything else is fine. Like the CG is fine.
I love how you go from just this. I love how you go from just this pouring out adulation for this one scene.
Everything else is fine. Yeah. So here's my problem with it. It has a really bad tone shift. It goes way too dark, way too weird. And then you have your Zemeckis humor. And so like with what's his name? The partner. The ghost that warns him.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
No,
I watched that movie every fucking year, different variations, and I still can't remember the names. It's weird.
Right.
But yeah, I see where you're going with it, and
yeah.
Carrie
Carrie Ellis was in that movie. The fuck? I knew Bob Hoskins was.
Yeah. There it is.
Gary Oldman and Colin Firth as well. Huh. Weird.
They had a pretty good casting. So.
Yeah, they did. I know what I'm watching this Christmas. Anyways, I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm tempted to. But no, it's a really good adaptation. It's just it's not the best. I would argue George C. Scott is a really good adaptation of it.
He voiced a lot of characters in that movie, in the Christmas Carol.
Gary?
Not just Scrooge. Yeah, Jim.
Yeah,
Carrey.
I know he did the Ghost of Christmas Past, the Ghost of Christmas Future, Christmas Present. Yeah, he plays all the ghosts. I knew that. There's a lot of good adaptations that do that. Where I mean, like in a lot of different adaptations of Peter Pan, the same, like any live action version of Peter Pan usually has the same person playing the father. Also plays Hook.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things. It's usually Father Darling is also Hook in a lot of different adaptations because it's supposed to be a very dreamlike state. Now, I would argue the one that does it the weirdest is the Peter Pan movie with Jason Isaac.
Which one's that one?
Live action, Disney. It came out in the early 2000s.
I don't
like
think
I
that
want to say
was
like
a Disney
2004.
Film. I don't think that it was.
Yes, it was.
That doesn't
it was.
sound
I
right.
shit you not. It was.
Aren't we here to talk Jim Carrey?
We are here to talk Jim Carrey, but right now we're gonna figure this out. Damn it. 2003 film.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my role to try to get us back on track and get told to fuck off.
Pretty much.
Although, I could bring it. Do you think Jim Carrey would have done a good Smee, Mr. Smee, if he was ever casted for it in a Peter Pan movie?
Yeah, he would.
Actually, I would argue he would do a really good Hook.
While yes, I think he would do a better Smee because he would be a good foil to whatever seriousness the actor playing Hook brings.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
For all his comedy, he is really good at not completely hogging a scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, you're right. I'm one to admit when I'm wrong. You were right. It's not Disney.
But yeah.
However, it's
what?
Columbia. It's Columbia TriStar. That's what it is. Okay, that actually makes some assortment of sense. I remember seeing that movie in theaters.
If it's the one I'm thinking, I did not like that interpretation of Peter Pan.
Tinkerbell acts like a psychotic bitch. And
that's a lot of them.
Weird. That's true. It's a little weird. The mermaids look very creepy. Shut the fuck up. It has Jason Isaacs. It has fucking Lucius Malfoy in it.
That just sounds like a weird casting, but okay. Yeah.
He plays Gregory Darling and Captain Hook.
Anyway, back on track. Damn it.
It happens.
Anyways, it does happen. So when it comes to Jim Carrey movies, I mean, he's got a lot of good ones under his belt. I would argue that, but
and a good range.
And he does have a decent range.
Very
I'll give
good
him
range,
that.
yeah.
I will argue that he will probably never win an Oscar as much as he tries.
No, I don't think
it's gonna happen. I really don't. Like, don't get me wrong, Will Smith, anything can happen. Will Smith finally got his Oscar. So maybe. I don't know. But I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Will Smith and Jim Carrey are around the same age. And they started their film careers around the same time, too.
And didn't he, well, obviously not since he's going to be in Sonic 3, but I also heard that he was getting close to retiring, too.
Jim Carrey has been going back and forth on retiring for decades. Not decades, for years now. Honestly, I don't think he's going to do it.
You might be right. He does seem like the type to die in the saddle, as it were.
Yeah. However, his backstory is pretty interesting. I will say, like, his history is pretty interesting. The fact that he was one of, I believe, 4 kids, struggling family, and then when he got his first check for $1 million, what he did is, unfortunately, his father had passed before he got it, so he buried it with his dad.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, or at the very least, he cashed it, but he kept a copy of it, and he buried it with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, that was like one of his promises he made himself. He's like, if I get a check for $1 million, I'm giving it to my dad. And apparently, the reason why he has such a good face range is because as a young kid, he would watch cartoons and he would actually stretch his face. The more
turns out, kid, when your parents tell you your face will stick that way, that's not true.
It's not until you're an adult.
Might help you land some good movie roles.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. You just got to learn to be funny, too. That's the unfortunate thing.
God, that grin he does as the Grinch.
Yeah, the freaking...
Like, I think that's as close as a human can come to that creepy smile he does in the animated movie. Mm-hmm. The good animated movie. The one that was actually narrated.
The only person that could have done it better was Tim Curry. And we technically got that in Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite transitions of all time. I'm sorry. That is such a good transition. Yeah. Nah, we'll never have another Tim Curry. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think there's ever gonna be another Tim Curry.
If there is, it's not gonna be in our lifetime.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You.
Definitely not in our lifetime.
Yep. But same thing with Jim Carrey, in all honesty. I don't think there's ever gonna be another Jim Carrey. Whenever he does retire, if he does. I don't think there's gonna ever be another Jim Carrey. He's given us a lot of laughs. He's given us a lot of what the fucks and a lot of I guess you could call them dramatic roles. Yeah, definitely a lot of oh god wise. That's for damn sure. Like I mentioned at the very beginning of this, he has had his head up his ass quite a while. But that doesn't make him any less of an actor, and it doesn't make him any less of a comedic legend.
If you think about it, it technically makes him more of an actor.
Kind of. So that being said,
I have a question to you guys. If let's just say they were going to do another comedy movie, like unknown story, but they wanted Jim Carrey, who else do you think would be a good group of comedic actors that would go along with Jim Carrey for a film?
Jim Carrey, Bill Burr, and there should be a third one. Trying to think of his name.
I'm gonna be honest. The first person that popped in my head was Hader.
Bill Hader. Yes.
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader, Jim Carrey, and Bill Burr. That's
I don't know what kind of story they could go with, but I think it'd be an interesting combination of people.
If I were going to
Three Amigos reboot.
A Three Amigos with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Tell me I'm not wrong, or tell me I'm wrong, man. Like that'd be really good. Bill Hader, Bill Burr, and Jim Carrey as the Three Amigos. Come on, man, it'd be hilarious.
I'm gonna be honest. If I were gonna pick anybody to take over for Jim Carrey, Bill Hader would be my first pick.
Bill Hader comes really close. I don't disagree with you there.
Yeah.
He's kind of come out of the limelight, though. I don't feel like he's doing as much anymore, and that makes me sad.
To be fair, he was on. He came from Saturday Night Live.
He was on SNL for quite a while, though.
He was.
Honestly, he was on the last good group of SNL, in my personal opinion. I'm sorry. Keenan's still there. I'll give him credit where credit's due, but like he can't hold on to it forever.
Like coming from a weekly show that you are famous for, and working purely for movies. Yeah.
To be fair, it didn't help the fact like one of his first big breakout roles was with an Amy Schumer film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not your best choice, though. Granted, I've heard that one's actually not that bad. I heard it's actually pretty funny.
Like you're going to come out of the limelight coming off of a show like SNL. Yeah. His farewell though.
Oh, his farewell to SNL was fucking hilarious.
It was great.
I didn't get to watch. I didn't watch it.
It's on YouTube. You can find it easy.
Okay.
Yeah. No, man. The one person. Yeah. But like I said earlier, Jim Carrey. There will never be another Jim Carrey. We have close seconds, but nothing ever comes close.
No, he just hits you in a certain way that
exactly
you can't mimic that. It's hard to mimic that if people try to. I actually keep seeing on TikTok a lot, like Universal Studios has during Christmas time they have the Grinch come out, and I see a lot of their actors actually try to mimic Jim Carrey's take on it. Like, granted, it's pretty well done, and it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
his reactions to people bringing him gifts and stuff like that. Like there was one TikTok video where a person brings him an onion.
That's funny. That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. Even though I don't care much for the Grinch film that he did, I still love the character, and just having people do that and trying to mimic his version of it, at least the comedic version of it. It still brings a smile to my face. It gives me a good laugh.
Aside from really cool looking makeup, there's one good joke, and I do mean one really good joke. And I wouldn't even argue it's really good. It's actually one of the better jokes of the movie, though, in his version of the Grinch, and it is taxi. And it passes by. It's because I'm green, isn't it?
While that is a really good one,
yes,
I am going to say either a close second or right up there with it for me is him pulling the tablecloth out, having it work perfectly, and then coming back and knocking it all over. To the point of flipping the table over as he leaves.
The funny thing about that is,
oh yeah, no,
that was ad-libbed. That was completely ad-libbed. He actually was supposed to come off and be destroyed. He just did it so well, and it stayed the way it is. And that's why he would turn around and just destroyed it, because that's not what was supposed to happen.
Which makes it 100% better.
That is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just talking about like one of the like written jokes. That is
my favorite from that one. Yeah, the two you said, great. My favorite has to be the dress up scene.
Oh, that one's
different clothes. He says like, "Ooh, ah." That's I'm not going.
That's it. I'm not going.
I don't know. I don't know why. It's a stupid joke, but it's hilarious, and I laugh every time I see it.
Yeah, no, that is a pretty good joke. Yeah,
it helps that like as an extreme contrast to the Cat in the Hat suit.
Mm-hmm.
It looks he pulls off the Grinch suit so well and makes
Part
it
of
look
it is
so
because
natural.
he let it become part of him. That's
Yes.
part of it. Whereas Mike Myers, you could tell, was fighting the suit. Jim Carrey became one with the suit. Mike Myers fought the suit, and that is the difference. But
Like,
I think we're gonna go ahead. Go ahead.
Like, if I didn't know that it was Jim Carrey in a suit, and I totally would have believed that somehow, some way, they found the actual fucking Grinch.
That's actually the best makeup I've seen in quite a while. That is a really good makeup job. But that being said, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I have been Black Chef 56. I have been joined by the Hungry Hufflepuff, aka Ali.
Guys, there's a lot of hatred out there. Stop it!
Fuck you!
Piss off!
Fuck you! And of course, we are also joined by the wonderful DJLionheart, aka Leon.
Let us know in the comments what your favorite Jim Carrey movie was, or ones you didn't like. And as always, stay nerdy. You know I'm not gonna not.
I know.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. When he said that it was just gonna be him and me, I was afraid that I was gonna have to do it.
No, anytime Leon's not here, nobody's ever gonna do it. That's
I did it once.
You did it once
when he wasn't here.
That was a one-time thing. It's a one ticket only. You don't get
everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. Tell him, Petey. Apparently, everybody gets one.
And there's his line.
Yeah, there you go. No, that's not mine. But that being said, once again, I am Black Chef 56, and hate, double hate, loathe entirely. And this has been the SnodaReels. We will see you all in the next one.
Bye. Take care, folks.
Hello everyone, this once again is Black Chef 56. If you like these videos, be sure to check out the playlist for SnodaReels. And of course, if you want to get some less in-depth thought processes on other topics, be sure to check out the podcast. We'll be dropping episodes every Saturday. Thank you all. Be good people.